Hi, I'm Avrumi Glaser, and this is Kol Geulah. I want to tell you a story, the story of how Kol Geulah began, and why I'm standing here today sharing this with you. From the time I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Geulah. My father used to teach at Eish Torah, right across from the Kosel, and up on the rooftop, there was something incredible, a scaled model of the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi, the third temple. Not just plastic or cardboard, it was built from the actual materials that will one day be used. Marble, gold, stone, one of the most beautiful models in the world. I would stand there for hours, just staring at it, imagining the day would be real. And right next to it, I'd grab the binoculars and lock my eyes onto Har HaBayis and picture the Beis HaMikdash rising again in that very spot. It felt so close, I could almost touch it. One night, my mother suddenly told us, Mashiach is here. We all dropped what we were doing, threw our Shabbos clothing on, and ran out the door. But he wasn't there. It was a drill. And yet, that moment never left me, because it showed me something, how badly I longed for Geulah. In my late teens, I learned in a yeshiva called Wilrijk in Antwerp. I buried myself in the Nevi'im that talk about the final redemption. I'd sketch architectural drawings on what the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi would look like, and when I came back to Israel, my heart became glued to the land. Friday nights at the Kosel, I'd sit in the back watching Jews of every kind fill the plaza, and I could feel it, Mashiach, right there in the air. I wasn't alone. I had friends who shared that same fire. Together we lived it. Together we dreamed it. Then came COVID. I flew to America for a friend's wedding. I met my wife, and suddenly my life took a new turn. I settled in New York. But here's the thing. In New York, that fiery talk about Geulah, it just wasn't the same. People weren't focused on it. And yet, every time I went back to Israel, that spark would come alive again. This year, Lag BaOmer, I flew with my family to Israel. We stayed in Sfas, and as the night fell, we took a bus to Miron. The dancing at Reb Shimon's kever, the songs, the energy, it was electric. Later that night, my brother Moshe took us to the gathering at Bnei Akiva, right above the Tzion of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. It was a huge tent, thousands of Jews, and we were singing about Geulah, singing Ani Maamin, and people were sharing Torah about Geulah. It was a beautiful event. There were also hostages there and soldiers who were fighting the war. It was a feeling of Am Yisrael rising in the middle of a war. The air was thick with it. You could taste Geulah. And I turned to Moshe and I said, I wish my friends in New York could see this. They have no idea how real it is. And Moshe looked me in the eyes and he said 4 words that cut deep. We all have a mission. And I said, yeah, I know, every person has a mission. And he goes, no, we have a mission. Me, you, and Charedi, my younger brother. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, we grew up in a house that was open to all kinds of Jews. We had birthright groups coming through, secular Jews. On the one hand, we learned in Yerushalmi schools, and on the other hand, we have family members who aren't religious. And yet we're in the Charedi community, but we have this unique perspective that we can share with this community. And then he says to me, you think in this day and age you can just live in Chutz La'aretz without any reason? You have a mission out there, and you better be doing your mission, or else you have no right to live outside of Israel. At that moment, I realized that my mission is to bring the Geulah awareness that was so real and vivid there, back to New York with me. I came back to New York, settled back in with my family, and did nothing about my mission. And then, the war with Iran breaks out. I started posting on my status things I was seeing that made me smile, if it was successes of the Israeli Air Force, or jokes. And I got a response that I thought was interesting. Someone said, you keep posting things about the physical strength of Israel. Where does Hashem come in? And I said, you know what, you're right. So my next post is going to be about Hashem. And I posted a question. If Mashiach comes tomorrow, what do you wish you have done today? And as I typed it, I felt something, like I had just taken my very first step towards that mission. Then I got a reply from a Satmar Jew who said he felt happy when the Jews were having success in the war, but he also felt guilty for being happy about the success of the Zionists. I decided to answer him with a video, and by Hashem's plan, my studio was still set up from an earlier shoot, so I hit record. I posted it, and then my phone exploded. Friends asking me to share the video, strangers I've never met asking me to save their numbers so they could watch my future statuses. And in that moment I knew Hashem wasn't waiting for me to choose. He threw me into it, just like Hashem threw Yonah into Nineveh. The very next day, I surrendered. I started a WhatsApp group, I opened this YouTube channel, and I wrote, I'll be posting new weekly videos. And that was it. Kol Geulah was born. But Kol Geulah isn't just my story, it's our story. The mission of this channel is to inspire Jews from around the world, especially in the Charedi community, to get excited about Geulah that's not just coming, but already here. To feel how close it is, to act in ways that bring it closer, and to create unity that bridges gaps between communities. Because in the end, we are one people with one destiny. That's the voice of redemption. And it's not just my voice, it's your voice too. Thanks for watching.